Imagine this for a second. You finally bought that expensive new OLED TV. Deep blacks, insane brightness, perfect colors. You sit down, ready to build the ultimate home setup, and then you realize something feels off. The Apple TV 4K you're using suddenly feels old. Not broken, not slow, just behind. And now the big question hits you. Do you buy one now? Or do you wait for what Apple is clearly preparing behind the scenes? Because according to multiple leaks, supply chain reports, and Apple's own roadmap, the next generation Apple TV 4K, coming in 2026, is not a small update. This isn't a minor refresh. This is shaping up to be the biggest Apple TV upgrade ever. The kind of upgrade that could turn it from a simple streaming box into the brain of your entire living room. And today, I'm going to explain why waiting might actually be the smartest move you make. No hype, no fake promises. Just real leaks, real logic, and a clear answer to whether the next Apple TV 4K is worth holding out for. Let's start with where we are right now. The current Apple TV 4K came out in 2022. It runs on the A15 Bionic chip. And to be clear, the A15 is still a solid chip. Streaming is smooth. Menus are fast. Casual games run fine. For Netflix, YouTube, Apple TV Plus, and basic Apple Arcade games, it does the job. But here's the problem. Technology doesn't stand still. And Apple doesn't think in 2-year cycles. Apple plans years ahead. By 2026, the A15 will be 4 generations behind Apple's flagship silicon. And that gap matters more than people realize. Leaks point to Apple upgrading the next Apple TV 4K with a chip in the A17 Pro class or newer. That's the same level of chip powering Apple's Pro iPhones. And that single change alone transforms what this device can do. The A17 Pro isn't just faster. It's in a different league. Better CPU performance, much stronger GPU, hardware-level ray tracing, better thermal efficiency, and far more power for sustained workloads. That means smoother animations, instant app launches, faster switching, and most importantly, real gaming potential. This is where things get interesting. Apple has already started pushing console-level games onto its platforms. Titles that were never meant for mobile devices are now running on iPhone and iPad. With the A17 Pro inside an Apple TV, those same games can run on your TV natively, without cloud streaming, without a console. Imagine turning on your Apple TV and launching a full AAA game with a controller. No PlayStation, no Xbox, no extra hardware. Just Apple TV, a controller, and your screen. That's not a fantasy anymore. That's exactly the direction Apple is heading. And Apple isn't doing this by accident. Gaming keeps users locked into ecosystems. It drives App Store revenue. It increases engagement. And Apple knows the living room is the next battlefield. But performance is only part of the story. The second major reason to wait is Apple Intelligence. AI is no longer optional. Every major tech company is betting everything on it. And Apple is finally bringing its full AI strategy into consumer products in a serious way. The next Apple TV 4K is expected to be one of the first home devices built from the ground up to support Apple Intelligence. This changes how you interact with your TV completely. Instead of basic voice commands, Siri becomes contextual, conversational, smarter. You won't need to repeat yourself. You won't need perfect phrasing. You can talk naturally. You could say, "Show me something new to watch tonight," and Siri won't just open a random app. It will look at what you like, what you watched recently, the time of day, who usually watches at that hour, and it will give you options that actually make sense. You could follow up with something shorter or something funny or only movies in 4K, and Siri will understand context. Notice it. No frustration. Over time, the system learns. It becomes your personal entertainment guide. Not just a search tool, but a filter that removes noise and surfaces content you actually want. And this doesn't stop with video. Music, podcasts, sports, and even photos get smarter. Apple TV could automatically surface family photos when guests are over, highlight sports scores you care about, or suggest playlists based on mood and time. This is where Apple has a real advantage, because Apple Intelligence is deeply tied into your devices. Your iPhone, your iPad, your Mac. Your HomePods. Your Apple TV isn't working alone. It's part of a network. And that brings us to the third big reason to wait. The Apple ecosystem. Apple TV is already more than a streaming box. It's a HomeKit hub. It handles automations. It connects your smart home. And with the next generation, that role expands. Leaks suggest Apple is working on a more advanced home dashboard experience directly on the TV. Lights, thermostats, cameras, doorbells, sensors, all visible from your screen, controlled with your voice or remote. Imagine checking who's at the door without pulling out your phone, or adjusting lighting for movie night automatically, or having your TV suggest dimming lights when you start a film. This is where Apple wins. Competitors can stream content, but they can't match this level of integration. Now let's talk about visuals, because if you bought an OLED TV, this matters a lot. The next Apple TV 4K is rumored to support higher frame rate HDR, better color depth, and improved video processing. That means smoother motion, better highlights, more accurate colors, less banding, cleaner gradients. Paired with modern OLED panels, movies will look closer to theatrical quality. Sports will feel more fluid. Games will look sharper and more responsive. And Apple may also redesign the hardware itself. Nothing dramatic, but a slimmer body, better cooling, quieter operation, possibly a new remote with improved haptics and precision. Small changes, but meaningful ones. So the big question becomes obvious. Should you wait? If all you want is basic streaming, the current Apple TV 4K is fine. It works. It's stable. It's polished. If your TV is older and you're not pushing high frame rates or advanced HDR, you won't miss much. But if you care about future-proofing, if you plan to keep your setup for 5 or 6 years, if you want gaming, AI features, and deeper ecosystem integration, waiting makes sense. Leaks suggest an early 2026 launch, likely first quarter, February or March. Yes, that feels far away, but waiting also has benefits. Early adopters usually pay more. Apple sometimes adjusts pricing, and buying closer to launch gives you the longest lifespan. Pricing is expected to increase slightly, probably in the $149 to $169 range for the base model. And honestly, that's fair. Considering what you're getting, that price makes sense. When you compare it to competitors, the value becomes clearer. Fire TV is cheaper, but limited. Roku is simple, but shallow. Google TV is decent, but fragmented. Apple TV 4K offers something different. Continuity, handoff, AirPlay, iCloud Photos, Apple Music with spatial audio, HomeKit control, gaming, i.e., all in one place. In my opinion, the 2026 Apple TV 4K is not just worth waiting for. It's the Apple TV Apple always want to build. A true home hub, not just for content, but for experiences. If Apple delivers even most of what leaks suggest, this will be the most important Apple TV release ever. And for anyone invested in the Apple ecosystem, it could quietly become one of the most used devices in your home. So now I want to hear from you. Are you planning to wait, or are you buying now? What matters more to you? Gaming, i.e., better visuals, or smart home control? And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with other Apple fans, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next big Apple leak or deep dive.